Good morning. Everybody take a minute to thank Derek Ryan. He is my subscriber that has, and I believe on numerous occasions, requested a video on thermostats. So finally getting around to that. I wish I had more varieties that I could show you, but we are going to discuss four of the major brands, or actually three of the majors and one of the minor. On the thermostats, that we'll go over some pros and cons, some prices and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. This is a Vivarium Electronics VE-100 from Reptile Basics. If most of you have binged on my videos or watched several of my videos, you know how I feel about Reptile Basics. And as some of you have posted here recently, that I am a no-hold-back reviewer of some of these products. I am not a paid spokesman, so I'm going to give you the absolute truth. The only reason that this is still in my possession is because I haven't had the time to take a sledgehammer to it and busted it all to pieces and throw it in the trash. Now, with that said, let's discuss this a little bit. The VE-100 is an entry-level thermostat. $85 plus shipping. Now, for the most part, it's a good thermostat, okay? I know I'm going to get some hate mail through this, and that's fine. Go ahead and vent. I'll read it, I'll laugh, and we'll go on our merry way. I have had nothing but problems out of the VE. I've had it short out. I've had it completely blank out and overheat my enclosures. I've had them overheat their Reptile Basics radiant heat panels, so I don't like it. I've been using this for about 4 months due to not having one of my others, and within those 4 months I've had to reset it 4 times. So not a big fan. $85 though, not bad. You get your old saying, you get what you pay for, all this other stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and prove that wrong later in this video. Our other options we're going to discuss is Helix. I really like the Helix thermostat. Helix go for about $135 on the DBS-1000, which is an entry-level thermostat. I do have one on my incubator. I did not want to take it off to be able to show you what it looks like, but you can Google the Helix thermostat. I believe Triple L Reptile has them for $135. Only downfall I see is they come with a 4-foot probe instead of, I think this one, the VE-100 comes with a 6-foot. Although you can order custom length probes for $1 a foot extra, you can get as long of a probe as you want on the Helix. For the most part, I feel that the Helixes are absolutely accurate. I've never had a problem out of the one that I have now. And I do like the Helix. For the most part, that's why I have it on my incubator. I would have no problems going with another one, but I would have to adjust, and you know, the accuracy is the biggest selling point for the Helix in my eyes. The other thermostat we talk about is the Herpstat. All right? Herpstat has several different varieties. They have several levels. They have the entry level with the Herpstat 1. That sells for $115. They are all proportionate thermostats, which means on most of these other thermostats, now along with the VE-100, you can go up to the VE-300XS, I believe. And let's jump back to that. These also have a night drop, but you have to buy a separate accessory for that, where you can adjust for the temperature to drop at night. I don't feel like that is essential. I've never used that. I've never had a problem with maintaining a good temperature as far as hot side and cold side. So I feel that's kind of an overkill. There might be some scenarios where that is beneficial. If you have to do a cool down on a reptile for breeding, I can see where that would be beneficial. Now the Helix entry level, the DBS-100 or 1000, does not have that, so that might be a drawback. But there again, I've never used the night drop temperature range, so it doesn't really matter. Getting back to the Herpstat, you can get the Herpstat 1, Herpstat 2, all the way up to Herpstat 6, I believe, which the numbers are pretty much based on what all you can use on that thermostat. For example, the Herpstat 2, you can run 2 enclosures on it. They do have an alarm on them that lets you know of extreme temperatures, either too low or too high. Let's all agree that the Herpstat is going to be top of the line as far as I'm concerned. They make a great product. It is very accurate. I had one in previously, but lo and behold, there was a really expensive snake that I wanted, so I had to sell off some stuff. So Herpstat was an easy sell. Do I regret it? No, because the thermostats that I use get the job done. There again, I've never had any problem. The Herpstat, like I say, you're looking at a range of $115 for the Herpstat 1, which is a single enclosure thermostat. It is a proportionate. The difference between proportionate and pulse is these thermostats, when the temperature drops 2 degrees below your desired temperature, it'll kick on and it'll heat it back up and then shut off. That is your pulse. Your proportionate is going to get it to that desired temperature and just hit it with just enough to keep it at that temperature. A lot of people use the proportionate with the incubator systems. I could see where that might be a concern. There again, I've never done that and I've done fine, so totally up to you. One of the biggest things to discuss is how many snakes do you have? If you have 1 or 2 pets and you have a good enclosure for them, you want to maintain it the best you can, I say yeah, go with a Herpstat or a Helix. They're worth the money. They're definitely worth it. In my case, where I've got a shit ton of enclosures, I could go with a 4 Herpstat 6s, and I'm looking at $1,600 or $2,000 worth of thermostats. Yeah, I couldn't justify that. So instead, let's talk about the 4th option. These are Sentry horticultural thermostats from Amazon. They're $18.99. Everybody's gonna hate on them. If you post on Facebook that you're using the Sentry horticultural thermostat, be prepared to be flogged. It's gonna happen. The haters love to stir the shit pot. Okay, that's fine. Let them do it. But to be honest, every single one of my enclosures has this thermostat. In the last 6 years, I've replaced 2. 1 year, gone. $85, $20. So I've spent $40 on replacing 2 thermostats over the last 5 years. Pretty good odds. Now, the downfall to this, they are not all that accurate. If you were to come here and look at all of my thermostats and see that they're all on a different temperature, with these you have to get them set up, get you a temp gun, shoot your hot side or your surface area, and adjust your temperature accordingly. I can hang with that not being all that accurate, and I make it a point to check it every week right prior to feeding time. So I haven't had to adjust thereafter, but just the fact that you do want to check the temperatures, make sure they're on point, and adjust if necessary. But to be honest, $20 delivered to your door, all the haters are going to hate me, for one, for trying to promote this product, but it works. Every one of my enclosures has this thermostat, and it does fine as long as you take a temperature reading here and there and adjust accordingly. This one here, I've had to adjust the temperature. It wasn't spot on accurate. So I can almost guarantee no matter what thermostat you use, you might do a temperature reading and it might be off from what the thermostat says. Is that the thermostat or is it the temp gun? Who the hell knows? You might have a cheap temp gun. You may have an expensive cheap heat gun that isn't all that accurate. I have shitty luck, guys. I'll buy stuff and it might be the 1 in 100 lemon that they produced on that day. So I'm not going to go ahead and say you're going to have shitty luck with this. You're not going to like it. You may buy it. You may like it. It's 85 bucks. Give it a try. Make sure you monitor it. Make sure you do a temp gun check on it and keep it at it. These here, same thing. Just make sure you do a temp gun check and adjust accordingly. The Helix I have found to be spot on. No matter what temperature I set that, my temp gun shoots that same temperature every time. Again, the Helix is $135 for the DBS-1000. It is a single function, single enclosure thermostat. If you have 1 or 2 snakes or even 3 and you can swing that, go for it. If you have 20 and you have an extra 2,000 bucks laying around, go for it. It's up to you guys, whatever works for you. Me personally, I like the $20 thermostats. They work well. I just have to adjust every once in a while. I have no problem with that because I'm going to check them anyway. Even if I had a Herpstat, I'm going to check a temp every once in a while anyway, just to make sure everything is functioning properly. Okay, that is your 4. VE100 entry level, you can go up to 300, that is proportionate, and it also allows for multiple enclosures. You got the Helix, you got the Herpstat 1 through 6. They do have separate functions on each one that might benefit you. Personally, I like the Herpstat with the alarm of the extreme temperatures, whether it be too hot or too cold. I do like that, I'm not gonna lie. If you have one snake and you feel you want to do the best that you can for that snake, go with a Herpstat and be done with it. I believe they come with a 1-year warranty, so after a year, which I really don't foresee anything happening within a year, after a year, hey, you're on your own. Me personally, with all these enclosures, I'm going with the cheapest I can. One other thing about the Century Horticultural thermostat, Bob Pound, the owner and operator of Pro Products Radiant Heat Panels, he personally suggests that you use this thermostat. So a man that's selling a product that has a 10-year guarantee and recommends a $20 thermostat, I'm going to go ahead and take his word for it, and so far it has worked beautifully. There is your video on thermostats. If there is another video that you want me to check, or not video, if there is another thermostat that you want me to check out or I might have overlooked, let me know. I'll be glad to check it out for you. Hope this helps. And Derek Ryan, thanks for the suggestion, and hope that helps everybody. See you on the next video.